Baseball fans are racing to an exhibit at Rockford University called Chasing a Dream. RU teams up with the International Women's Baseball Center to host the Traveling Women in Baseball exhibit. Chasing a Dream was created by John Kovach and has been displayed nationwide at Major League ballparks, museums, and libraries. But for the next 3 months, it can be found only at the Howard Coleman Library at Rockford University. It's free to see, and it's open 7 days a week through December.
I think it's always important to not only recognize the contributions of those females who were on the field, but females have been impacted other aspects of baseball in popular culture, whether it is sheet music, a vaudeville act. There are just a lot of different aspects of that.